Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Alexander Nix, and today I present to you SCP-2852, aka Cousin Johnny. Object Class, Keter. Special Containment Procedures. Containment of SCP-2852 is to focus on tracking and disruption of incidents where possible and genital monitoring of SCP-2852 compliable population centers. All individuals involved in blue and white level events are to be monitored extensively, and their identities are to be given to local law enforcement as potential terrorist threats. Even when disrupted, individuals involved in blue and white level events are to be cataloged and their names are to be sent to local law enforcement agencies. Individuals witnessing the disruption of either event are to be given Class B amnestics. Black level events are to be monitored until conclusion. Afterward, all participants are treated with Class A amnestics and are otherwise treated identically to those affected by other events. Members of Mobile Task Forces Upsilon 36, 52, and 99 who witness a Black level event are to be treated with the Class A amnestics upon retirement or transfer. In addition to this, they are to be monitored for any signs of antisocial or otherwise uncharacteristic behavior. If found to have been infected by the Black level event, operatives are to be anesthetized and suspended from all field operations and redesignated to low-level, low-intensity work such as general maintenance and data input. MTF-Y36, the Party Crashers, are tasked with responding to any SCP-2852 appearance. MTF-Y52, Keter Duty, and Y99 Altar Boys are tasked with identifying SCP-2852 events and providing backup to MTF-Y36. MTF-Y52 and 99 are to establish a presence within communities where 60% of the population is Roman Catholic or is Revision 2852-7 Anglican. Any SCP-2852 instance found attached to a different religious group must be reported to a researcher with Level 4 clearance immediately. While currently isolated to the North American subcontinent, all SCP-2852 compliable communities are to be monitored for an uncharacteristic rise in juvenile delinquency, sterility, domestic violence, and divorce rates. Description: instances of SCP-2852 have the appearance of a middle-aged white male. Biologically, the cells of SCP-2852 instances are genetically identical and human. However, instances do not have any identifiable organs. Their bodies are made up of fibrous muscular tissue, with the teeth and hair being made out of chitin, chemically similar to those of the cicada family. The eyes of SCP-2852 instances, while looking non-anomalous from a difference, are simply set in the eye socket without any nerve or muscle connection. While capable of speech despite having no vocal cords or analogous organs, SCP-2852 instances do not show any grasp of language, instead speaking in a word salad. Despite this, all individuals at an SCP-2852 compliable event will perceive the subject speaking intelligibly. In addition to this, they will regard all SCP-2852's actions as normal unless otherwise told so. Individuals describe SCP-2852 as being playful with a crude sense of humor, and all individuals affected in an SCP-2852 event will refer to the subject as Cousin Johnny. While sentient, SCP-2852 instances do not appear sapient, having no higher brain function. SCP-2852 instances appear at various Catholic and Anglican religious functions and are treated as being an established member of the family. Instances of SCP-2852 are accepted regardless of family resemblance nor ethnicity. The entity can appear at baptisms, weddings, and funerals referred to as blue, white, and black level events respectively. Currently, no SCP-2852 instance has been found to appear at any other type of family gathering. All attempts at tracking SCP-2852 instances before and after an event have met with failure. The entities are able to appear at such events as though they had always been there, alternatively appearing between frames when under surveillance or simply evading any attempt by operatives to keep them out of an event. All tracking devices placed on SCP-2852 instances have malfunctioned immediately with the entity evading any surveillance. Each family gathering that SCP-2852 attends results in different behavior from the subject and different effects. Generally, the effects of SCP-2852 appearing at a family gathering can result in more serious damage done to children, although adults are not free from its effects. It is worth noting that stopping an SCP-2852 instance before it evolves itself in religious ritual will not stop its effects from spreading, although they may be diluted. The appearance of SCP-2852 at an event is enough for its effects to start spreading among the family. When questioned after the event, all affected individuals will report a feeling of fondness toward SCP-2852 regardless of its actions during the event. The following is a description of what occurs at a blue level event, aka a baptism. SCP-2852's effects at a blue level event are present more strongly in the child being baptized, its parents, and any godparents chosen for the occasion. During the baptismal ritual, SCP-2852 will involve itself directly in the proceedings, acting as a third godparent. Traditionally, in a baptismal ritual, there are only two godparents, one being male and one being female. Blue level events proceed identically despite the presence of a third godparent until the child is submerged into the water. Immediately upon making contact with the water, the child's top layer of skin will slough off in one piece as if molting like a snake. This process does not seem to harm the child in any meaningful way. Once this has occurred, the godparents will then split the skin into thirds and eat it amongst each other. Afterward, the mass will go on as normal, and SCP-2852 will exit along with the family. If any type of after-party is held, SCP-2852 will not be in attendance. The baptized child will have a chance of dying within the next 6 months, well above the national average. Any child that manages to survive will exhibit multiple Cluster B personality disorders. In addition to this, most will tend to join anti-capitalist groups, and most interestingly, various groups of interest that have a direct hatred for the Foundation. If unchecked, they will often engage in destructive behavior, usually manifesting in self-harm, abuse of animals, and abuse of small children. The godparents and biological parents will be rendered sterile, regardless of SCP-2852's success in becoming part of the baptismal ritual. Both groups will commit suicide within 5 years of a blue level event through drowning. All individuals not directly involved in the baptismal ritual but merely were present at the baptism are 500% more likely than the national average to have stillbirths. Those who manage to actually have a child are far more likely to abandon them, sometimes allowing the child to die in the process. One couple that was affected by a blue level event in Ohio gave birth to triplets, which they then dismembered and hung their various body parts from trees along their property. Past adolescence and into adulthood, children exposed to the song of cicadas respond with extreme anxiety and accompanying physical symptoms such as dry mouth, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and headaches. Some subjects' agitation escalates into violent outbursts, which has resulted in at least 20 fatalities. When interviewed about the cause of their disturbance, no subject have ever identified the cicada song as a trigger for their episodes. Even in one interview involving Level 5 enhanced interrogation, the subject never indicated the role of the cicada song in his attack on Parish, which resulted in 18 dead and 10 wounded, including his own parents and 3 of his siblings. This entry will describe a white level event, aka a wedding. During the marriage ceremony, SCP-2852 will insert himself as a groomsman, and most of its anomalous effects will only manifest after the vows have been read. After the rings have been exchanged, SCP-2852 will produce various implements that allow the bride and groomsmen to pull out their teeth one by one. Individuals seem to be oblivious to any pain that would normally take place during such an event, and blood loss, still through unknown means, does not occur. The bride and groom will then be presented with the teeth and eat them. Damage done to the bride and groom's teeth and jaw are extensive, but any blood loss that occurs will not be fatal. The groom then, in place of vows, will vocalize a currently unknown cicada song, which has been known to reach upwards of 140 decibels, rendering the bride and those on the altar deaf. Currently, no groom has ever been deafened by his own call. At the wedding reception, SCP-2852 will take on the role of the best man and give a speech. This speech, as with all vocalizations of SCP-2852, will be nonsensical with no pattern to the words being used. Individuals will react to the speech with mixed emotions, some crying uncontrollably while others falling onto the floor in laughter. After the speech, SCP-2852 will produce a gift for the married couple. This gift currently has always been 3.5 kilograms of human hair of various colors, 13 deceased specimen of Tibin lieni, which is a species of cicada, and 23 human teeth in a cardboard box. DNA testing on all three subjects has been inconclusive. The bride and groom of a white level event will divorce on average 2 years after their wedding due to the result of domestic abuse on both sides. Any children produced during their marriage will have cluster B personality disorders or life-threatening disfigurements. All married individuals attending the event will find themselves unable to have children despite a lack of detectable changes to fertility-related biology. Sperm count and sperm quality remain unaffected. Ovulation also remains unchanged, and no genetic irregularities have been observed within the eggs. The Foundation has arranged a statistically significant number of hysterectomies for guests at white-level events. The surgeries are prescribed and administered by third-party agents in the medical industries. Exhaustive biopsies, chemical analysis, and mechanical inspections of the extracted uteri and ovaries have failed to yield any signs of abnormality. All children involved in white-level events will avoid romantic relationships, and 9 out of 10 commit suicide by the age of 18. The usual method of suicide is pulling out their own teeth until blood completely blocks their airways. If this does not work, they will slit their wrists until they are exsanguinated. The following log is a typical description of a black-level event, aka a funeral. Black-level events are notable in that any attempt to disrupt the event through any means result in the actor becoming a participant in the event. Currently, there exists no way to stop or end a black-level event. Any attempts at barring SCP-2852 instances from the church or funeral home result in SCP-2852 simply appearing in a pew. During a black-level event, SCP-2852 will take the place of the eulogizer even if one was not scheduled to speak during the Mass. The speech, as with all speeches given by SCP-2852, will be nonsensical with no word patterns being found. However, as the subject speaks, the individual closest to the departed will open up the casket and produce a long knife. The knives produced during a black-level event are never seen before the event and disappear shortly after. The individual will then exsanguinate themselves, normally from the wrists, but there have been instances where individuals have slit their throats. In turn, 2 by 2, each attendant will use the knife to pour their blood into the casket. Children too young to slit their own wrists are helped by adults. Despite many losing enough blood to result in death, no physical effects are seen in participants. SCP-2852's speech eventually turns into the song of an adult male Tibetan luini, a species of cicada. All participants will respond with the same call. Despite the song of the cicada being limited to the male, SCP-2852 will stand at the pulpit until each individual has bled themselves, then walk to the casket and vomit a mixture of blood, wood pulp, and dead specimens of Tibetan lieni into the unknown person's casket. Currently, it is unknown how SCP-2852 instances are able to hold the mixture within themselves, as they have no cavity of sufficient size in its body to hold such an amount of liquid. Once finished, the funeral mass will go on as normal, and the casket filled with the blood and SCP-2852's vomit will be taken to the cemetery and lowered into the earth, as is normal for a Catholic or Anglican funeral service. Black level events would normally end here. However, if a family gathering was planned to take place after the funeral, SCP-2852 will be in attendance. SCP-2852 will, once all individuals affected have come to the location, vomit a similar mixture of blood, wood pulp, and dead Tibetan lieni into a bowl. This mixture will be primarily eaten by the affected children. After the bowl has been emptied, SCP-2852 will give another speech full of nonsensical words without patterns. It will then strip itself and lay upon a table. The participants will then eat SCP-2852's flesh until there is nothing left. During this, SCP-2852 will still vocalize even when suffering mortal injuries. Participants have been known to carry on friendly conversation with SCP-2852 while consuming him. Children that are unable to chew whole food properly will be fed mouth to mouth by any caregivers like a bird. All participants of a Black Level event will break their ties to family either through suicide, moving, or divorce. Every individual involved in an event will be rendered sterile. Domestic violence in participants of Black Level events will usually be of a cannibalistic nature, which results in the death of one or both individuals. 6 out of 10 children involved will attempt to murder one or both of their parents before the age of 18. It is currently theorized that nearly a third of Catholic or Anglican D class were involved in a Black Level event. Dr. Alexander Nix, signing off.